Hi, so in this video we will see about mythology and Etruscan society, and especially the role of women, very important for mythology. So Etruscan society saw women, unlike the contemporaries in Greek civilization, as enjoying great freedom. So the Greeks, and especially the two authors Theopompus and Plato, and Romans, for example, Livy, disapproved this fact and so spread malicious comments about the moral custom of Etruscan women. Whilst the Greek women lived in a position of submission to their husbands, and in a way the Roman women too, and so spent most of their time shut up in their homes, Etruscan women were instead entitled to take part in all public events. So they had equal social standing. For example, important social events were banquets, where they sat next to their men on convivial couches, as you can see in this drawing. So, do you remember that Etruscan society, the Etruscan world was organized politically in city-states. In these city-states ruled the strong aristocracy. That was the uppermost class of Etruscan society. And usually this aristocracy ruled in a form of oligarchies, so power of few. In some cities there were kings, in others there were leading magistrates that politically and militarily were the head of the state, and together they ruled together with a council of nobles. The working classes were the majority of people tied to the noble families by a relationship of clientage. Slavery was admitted. For example, in the fresco with this banquet, we can see the naked figures that are servants serving their masters in the banquets. Then women. So women had a considerable social standing because we have seen they could attend all public events, but also because they could have their individual first names, unlike their counterparts, for example, in Rome. And this is one of the many factors, so suggesting that they possessed considerable social standing. So, in between social life, you have understood that the banquets had a great importance, especially for the aristocratic class. In many works of art of the Etruscans, we can see people sitting at tables or lying in pairs in couches, attending to banquets. Many times we can see women together with men. So this was a way for the aristocrats to show their power. So women attended to this and were a great part of it, so participating to conversation and to the entertainment, but the cultural entertainment of it. So, for example, poetry. And the banquet is, it's important, very much reproduced in the art of the Etruscans, and especially in tomb frescoes, having a double meaning for the Etruscans. It was first a religious ceremony during which the relatives of the deceased took part in the banquet as part of funeral ceremonies, and they believed too that the spirit of the deceased was also present. For example, in the fresco below, you can see that the men has in his hand a round thing, probably an egg that's a symbol of rebirth. In addition, in daily life, so banqueting was a symbol of wealth and so marked membership of the social elite. So it was only so the aristocratic class that could afford to give these magnificent receptions, where the guests that were high-ranking men and women together would lie in pairs and were served by numerous slaves, while musicians and dancers accompanied the banquet together with other cultural events, as I said, so poetry most of all. So the tables were covered, as you can see in the frescoes, with embroidered tablecloths and laid with rich dishes. So because the food was plentiful, this was another way to show wealth, with meat, in particular game, vegetables and fruit, and the wine was served in beautiful cups. So very important was music for the Etruscans. The Etruscans played for sure percussions, string and wind instruments, in particular the flute, in all its forms. But the double flute was considered the national Etruscan instrument, as you can see in the fresco below. They greatly appreciated music. Women too could play music, and it accompanied all their daily activities, from working to eating to civil and religious ceremonies. Even on the battlefield, the movements of the troops were directed by the sound of trumpets. Then dancing. So music often accompanied the rhythmical movements of dancers that again could be both male and female, as you can see in this fresco. And dancing was not only for entertainment, but could also be part of a ceremony to propitiatory rites and funerals. And then music was part of dramatic performances of more ancient origin, with, for example, mime by masked actor dancers. Then, from the 4th century BCE, drama with dialogue became common, inspired by Greek theater. Here we have another example of how women were dining at banquets with their men. So this is a beautiful terracotta sculpture, because in the late archaic period of Etruscan chronology, the terracotta statue resumed its astonishing career in Etruscan art, as manifested, for example, by the famous sarcophagi with reclining figures from Cerveteri. This sarcophagus is depicting a married couple reclining on a banquet bed, and was originally placed in a chamber tomb beneath a tumulus tomb in the Banditaccia necropolis of the city of Cerveteri. So you can see how the husband lies behind his wife, placing his hand on her shoulder, so expressing a great intimacy and tenderness, and she is pouring scented oil onto his palm, a rite that normally was used for the deceased. Here you have other pictures of this same sarcophagus, this same coffin, and called of the spouses, so of the married couple. and now is preserved in Rome in the Villa Giulia National Etruscan Museum, one of the most important Etruscan museums in the world. There's a similar one in the Louvre Museum in Paris too. Then you see that the tradition of showing men and women lying in pairs on banquet beds continued till the end of the Etruscan history. This is a portrait of an elderly couple on a sarcophagus lid from Volterra this time. And is dated in the first century BCE. This is especially realistic, as you can see. Our portrait showing the age of the two persons. But you see, the model of presentation is the same as before and is quintessentially Etruscan. So we can see this only in Etruria. So here you can see again in the pictures of women often represented in Etruscan art, that Etruscan women could dress unconventionally, and they were too educated, we know for sure. And the evidence of their prominent role so is the custom of identifying people not only with their father name but also with their mother's name. So women could not only have their first names but give their name to their descendants. So this showing the great social standing. In the last phase of Etruscan history, when Greek cultural influence was felt more strongly, both in the arts and in the customs, Etruscan women started to lose part of their independence because Etruscan society was affected by the Greek customs. In Tarquinia, we have the greatest amount of frescoes in tombs. We have discovered about 200 of them. And in these frescoes, we can see many times women. So here in the center, you can see a woman with a mantle, probably a priestess. And then here you can see a dancer, heavily dressed, and here another one. Then here we have another tomb of the 5th century, where we can see other female and male dancers. And then here in the corner of this fresco tomb, we can see again a female dancer, and here a woman lavishly dressed in pair with her man at banquet. Here again you can see the woman very lavishly dressed. This is one of the most beautiful female portraits that we have in Etruscan art. This tomb is of the mid of the 4th century and is the portrait of this noble woman called Velia, and we have her name inscribed here, so the importance of her is shown by this thing too. So to be addressed with her own name, and we can see some details. So the hair dressing, the decoration of her head, the jewels, and then the fact that she has makeup too, and the beauty of this woman. These are other close-ups of the same portrait of Velia. So these two show women's social standing, and so the noble women that could attend the same social events of men. Then in next video we will see their education and their role in the spread of myths and their knowledge of myths. Okay, see you in next video.